Hi guys, it's James Tremain here from Retrain with Tremain. I am a transformational coach who works with breathwork as a utility to help transform people's lives. But today we're going to be talking all about breathwork and the ice bath. So over today's video, I'm going to teach you and I'm going to go into great detail about things you can do before you get into the ice bath to prepare, and a few things to do while you're in the ice bath to keep your parasympathetic nervous system switched on so you can spend longer in the ice and get more of the cellular and health benefits that you can possibly get from being in ice water and cold water exposure. So let's first of all talk about preparation for getting into the ice bath. So before we get into any cold water, it is advisable to speak to your doctor to make sure that you're completely healthy and you have no heart issues or any problems that might occur while getting into the ice bath. Now, if you are super healthy and you've spoken to your doctor and they've given you the go ahead to jump in the ice bath, there's a few things that we can do beforehand which involves breath work to prepare us to get into the cold water. So basically what happens when we get into an ice bath, our body goes into a shock response. And what basically happens is the body, the blood vessels, they will start to constrict. It goes into something called vasoconstriction, which is basically where the blood vessels within the body start to constrict, and all of the blood flow, which would usually be going to the extremities like the hands or the legs or the head, it will stop going to those extremities and it will come back into the area of the body that is most needed. So the functions of the heart, the brain, those sort of things. Now, what we can do before the ice bath is we can actually bring an abundance of fresh oxygenated blood back into the bloodstream so that when we get into the ice bath, we are internally warmed up and the blood is filled with oxygen so that we can spend longer in the cold. So we're going to do a little exercise that you can do before you jump into the ice bath, just to bring back oxygen, energy, and vitality to the system before we get in. So let's try it together now. What we're going to do, we're going to take 54 breaths, forcefully in through our nose and forcefully exhaling through our nose. What we're going to do, we're going to bring our hands just under the chest here, and we're going to bring the hands around like this. We're going to slightly squeeze the chest and we'll forcefully inhale through the nose like this. And as you see, the rib cage will expand and contract like an accordion. So we're going to forcefully inhale and forcefully exhale through the nose like this. And you're going to do 54 of these. What this is going to do, this is going to help to activate your third energy center, which is Manipura. This is all about energy and vitality. So what you may find when you do these exercises and do 54 breaths, forcefully inhale through the nose and forcefully exhale through the nose, you'll actually physically feel your body start to warm up. So you might start to feel like hot, you might start to feel sweaty. All of these sensations is just because we're bringing more fresh oxygenated blood and we're warming up the system with this breathing exercise. So what I would recommend is doing 54 of these breaths before you get into the ice bath, and then begin to get into the cold therapy. Now, once we are in the ice bath, there's a couple of things that are going to happen to the body, like we mentioned earlier. So the body's going to go into a shock response. It's going to go into fight or flight mode. So essentially our body is revolving around our central nervous system. So our central nervous system runs along the spine, and we have our autonomic nervous system, which is basically responsible for all the automatic systems that are going on within the body. So the heart pumping, healing of any cuts, etc. But there's two main sides of that autonomic nervous system. There is the parasympathetic side and there is the sympathetic side. So there's sympathetic side is essentially the response that the body goes into when we're in fight or flight. So imagine that you're in the savannah and a lion jumps out. You're quickly going to jump back and your body is going to flood the system with adrenaline, cortisol, all of these stress responses to give you a boost and rush of energy, so that you can get out of that situation really quickly. And the same thing is basically going to happen when you get into the ice bath. That same shock response, that same fight or flight response is going to happen. Now, what we want to do, we want to switch on the opposite side of that, which is our parasympathetic nervous system. So parasympathetic is the system that is responsible for rest and digest. So once the perceived threat in the outside world, let's say the lion has gone, and now we're resting, and our body will now switch on to rest and digest, which basically means the body's blood flow will go back to the extremities, it will go back to the digestive system. So the body now knows that there's no external threat and it can start to come back to homeostasis. Now that parasympathetic nervous system, that system that is responsible for rest and digest, that system is basically what we want to switch on while we're in the ice bath. So instead of initially getting into the ice bath and our body saying, wow, we've got to get out of this situation, we are going to use the breath. The breath is the way that we control our autonomic nervous system. And that is the way we're going to switch on that parasympathetic nervous system. So first of all, when we get into the ice bath, you're going to sit there, and I would suggest try not to move. If you want to, you can put your hands under your armpits to keep your fingertips warm. If not, you can keep your hands out in front of you. And I would suggest to not move at all. The reason that we're not going to move at all is what happens, the body will actually create a small film of warm water all around the body to help insulate the body, to keep us warm essentially. But what we are going to be doing with regards to breathing is I'm going to give you 2 different exercises that you can do while you're in the ice bath to help switch on your parasympathetic nervous system. And once we switch that system on, we go from our blood vessels constricting to our blood vessels opening, which essentially allows us to let more fresh oxygenated blood to go all around the system and to keep us warmer and allow us to stay longer in the ice bath. So the exercise that I would recommend to do when you're in the ice bath, there's 2 different ones you can do. The first one, we're going to be working with the numbers 7, numbers 3 and number 7. So with this one, super simple, you're going to inhale through the nose for 7 seconds. So inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold the lungs. 1, 2, 3. Now exhale for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then inhale again straight away, 7 seconds. Hold the lungs full of air for 3 seconds and then exhale for another 7 seconds. If you just keep this flow of 7 seconds, inhale, hold for 3 at the top and exhale for 7 seconds, that's going to help to switch that parasympathetic nervous system on. And not only from a physiological point of view are we controlling the body through the breath, we can also help to calm the mind down when we get into the water. So when we get into the water, the first thing that your mind's going to say is, I need to get out of here. This is too cold. That fight or flight system's going to go straight away, all right? So with the focus on the breath, we're going to use the breath also not only to control the body, but also to control the mind. When we start breathing deeply, that mind that is going, you've got to get out of here, you've got to get out of here, that starts to slow down with every single exhalation, okay? So really focusing on full deep inhales, expanding the entirety of the diaphragm, holding at the top for 3 seconds and then exhale for 7 seconds, okay? So give that one a go. There's a second exercise that you guys can also try, and that's just simple box breathing. So box breathing is just going to be 4 seconds inhalation, up 4 seconds, hold at the top for 4 seconds, down, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold empty for 4 seconds, okay? So we'll do this for a couple of rounds together now. So sitting up nice and tall, you'll inhale through the nose for 4 seconds. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the lungs, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold empty, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now just continue that cycle for as long as you need. You can try that. That's going to help to also control that parasympathetic nervous system, and that's going to help you, as I say, control the nervous system, stay longer in the cold water. And the benefits, as I'm sure you all know, are absolutely amazing with regards to reduction in inflammation in the joints, longevity in the immune system, shock proteins. There's so many amazing benefits that you'll get from combining breath work and the ice bath, okay, and cold water therapy. So give these 2 exercises a go. Let me know how you get on. But once again, as I say, before anyone does decide that they're going to check out and try out the ice water therapy and the cold baths, definitely consult a doctor beforehand to make sure that you're fit and healthy and that there's going to be no complications. But if you are fit and healthy, then give these exercises a go and let me know how you get on.